Before the whispers turned into shouts, before the manicured lawns of Hemlock Creek Estates became a battlefield, there was a promise I made to a version of myself with scraped knees, staring through the fence of a city school, swearing that one day my own son would never know what it felt like to be told he was less before he even got his shot to prove himself. You know what I mean? That promise was fuel, man. Nights learning to code on a hand-me-down laptop, skipping holidays, choking down ramen and my own doubts, and every damn step was for this moment. So my kid, Jaden, would have a shot at something better, maybe a life without the silent tests and lowered expectations. Now, folks here, they see me in a suit, see the nice house, the confidence, and they figure it must be nice, but nobody sees the years, the grind, the 2 or 3 times as much I had to do just to get half as far. They see the reward and think it was given, not earned. And nothing represented that hard-earned success more than the car parked in my driveway, a Dodge Challenger, red as fresh blood, all muscle, all promise. I handed that key to Jaden on his 18th birthday, and the look on his face, man, I wish you could have seen it, because for that moment, the world outside didn't matter. We weren't just father and son. We were kings in our own kingdom, rolling in victory. But we didn't know, not then, that sleeping 2 doors down was a dragon, and we just kicked the hive. The rumble of that engine was music to us, but to her, it was an air raid siren. It didn't take long for the war to start, less than an hour. I'm still out on the driveway, Jaden in the seat, grinning like he's dreaming, me just soaking up the moment, when I spot her, a storm cloud in a pink blazer, marching right across her yard, then mine, dragging her husband along like deadweight. She stopped at the edge of my driveway, staring, her finger already cocked and loaded. What is that? Not congratulations, not what a beautiful car. Just accusation. And let me tell you, I've faced down cutthroat VCs, racist clients, all of it. I know the look. A gift, I say, as level as I can. For my son's 18th. She practically spits the word, a gift. You people think you can do whatever you want. Flaunting this monstrosity. You people. There it was. The oldest, most tired weapon in the arsenal. I tell her straight, my property. My son earned it. Full ride for .0. Her husband, Gary, just burps and keeps chewing his pizza. Eyes glazed, stains on his shirt mapping out a whole career of not giving a damn. But for her, it wasn't about the car. It was about us, my success, my presence, my audacity to exist and thrive where she thought I shouldn't. I tried to keep it calm, but she doubled down, ranting about her husband's unemployment, about how he deserved something nice, how my son would probably use the car to sell drugs. That's when I put a hand on Jaden's shoulder. Silent command, stay put. I told her, this conversation's over. Get off my property. But it was never over. That was just a prologue. Within a week, the certified letters started coming. Violation after violation. Engine noise, color too aggressive, parking too close to the grass. Fines stacking up, threats, each one a paper cut, each one more personal. She was the treasurer of the HOA. It was her private army. Neighbors who used to wave now averted their eyes. I was spending nights not building my company or hanging with my son, but buried in HOA bylaws, learning how easily bureaucracy can be weaponized. Then, the vandalism. First a deep scratch along the Challenger, deliberate, precise. No witnesses, no proof. Then eggs smashed against my garage, running down the siding the car. I called the police once. The officer was barely interested. Probably kids. You sure you don't have enemies? I tried to keep my head up, power wash the yoke off, look over, and there she was, a silhouette behind the lace curtains, watching, waiting for me to crack. One night, after midnight, I heard the hiss thump out front. Looked out, there she was, hoodie pulled up, crouched by the Challenger. Ice pick in hand, stabbing the tires, methodical, angry. My blood froze. I grabbed my phone, started recording through the blinds, heart pounding. But seeing her do that, to the car, to the promise I made, something snapped. I stepped outside, calm as death, get away from my car. She spun, caught, but she didn't run. She just smiled, cold, calculating, and dared me. What are you going to do about it? And then, God, I'll never forget it. She dragged the pick along her own forearm, not deep but enough to draw blood, and started screaming, Help! He's attacking me. Lights flicked on all down the street. Neighbors peeking out, police roaring up, red and blue painting the nightmare. She was the victim, I was the monster. I ended up cuffed in the back of a patrol car. Mugshot taken, charges filed. My son, Jaden, woke up to an empty house, the car in the driveway, mutilated. I was powerless, ashamed, not because I'd done wrong, but because I was too small to stop any of it. Ms. Monty, my lawyer, didn't waste time on sympathy. She went to war. She dug up HOA records, subpoenaed emails, found a neighbor with a doorbell cam. Finally, a crack of light. The video showed it all. Julia, the pink dragon, sneaking to my car at 2 a.m., the timeline she and Gary swore to in court unraveling. Then came the text messages, dug up from Gary's phone, joking about the big finish, timing her feint in court, planning the poisoning stunt. The jury watched Julia's mask slip, watched her lies crumble. The prosecutor tried to rally, but it was too late. The judge dismissed all charges with prejudice, referred her and Gary for prosecution. But even as I walked out free, my name cleared, the victory wasn't sweet. The lies, the whispers, the blog posts, they're still out there. My son, once proud, now wears a heavier shield. We survived, but the scars linger. And that's the world we live in, isn't it? Where truth has to fight 1,000 battles just to get heard once. And even then, you might just survive, not win. You tell me, what's justice really? Is it about the law? Or is it about who gets to write the story? Let me know down below what you think. Who was right? Who was wrong? What would you have done if this happened to your family? And if you've ever had to fight for your place in the world, share your story. This isn't just my battle, it's all of ours. So you think when the judge brings that gavel down and the charges are dropped, it's over. You step out of that courthouse, sunlight on your face, and you're supposed to breathe easy, right? But let me tell you, that walk down the courthouse steps feels nothing like victory. Not when half the town is still clutching their pearls, whispering as you pass, and every news blog's headline is still floating out there. A stain nobody really wants to scrub away. You don't just come home, you return to a crime scene. Yellow tape half torn, your son on the porch looking at you like he's seeing a ghost. Jaden ran into my arms, his body shaking with every silent sob. I just stood there, holding him, realizing I was the one who'd brought this nightmare to our doorstep. Me with my big dreams and my stubborn hope that hard work could buy us a seat at any table. I wish I could tell you that was the moment things got better, that a court's ruling could rewrite the neighborhood grapevine or put old wounds to bed. But the truth is, some scars are deeper than they look. The Challenger sat in our garage, for new tires, the scratch on the door buffed out, but it was more monument than muscle car now. Jaden didn't drive it, not once. He started taking the bus, head down, shoulders hunched, trying to disappear in a place I'd promised would let him shine. His friends, the ones who used to crowd the driveway, barely texted anymore, and I could see the light in his eyes dimming with every click of another community update on his phone. Yeah, I won my freedom, but lost the promise. You ever try to fix something you can't touch? That's what being a father feels like sometimes. At night, we'd sit in the kitchen, the silence stretching long between us. One evening, Jaden finally broke, voice low. If I hadn't wanted the car, if you'd just bought something boring, none of this would have happened. That hurt more than anything that woman in the pink blazer ever did. Don't you dare, I said, voice shaking. This is not your fault. This is not my fault. This is her. And people like her, who can't stand to see us happy, can't stand to see you succeed. But even as I said it, it sounded weak. Hearing your own father admit there's no real safe haven, only prettier fences and smarter guards, that shakes a kid's soul in ways no courtroom verdict ever could. He started pushing back. Why can't we just tell everyone the truth? Why can't we hang a sign on our lawn? Let the world see who the liar really is. And I had to say it again and again. That's not how it works, son. We have to trust the process. Anything else will be used against us. He just stared at the ceiling, jaw set, anger burning off him like a fever. That's when it really hit me. This was never just about a car or even about my reputation. It was about whether a black family can ever really belong, can ever really rest in a place that smiles to your face and sharpens its knives behind the blinds. Ms. Monty kept fighting, her legal offense relentless. She went after Julia and Gary with everything she had: perjury, obstruction, harassment. The court moved slow, but the evidence we'd gathered, doorbell cams, text messages, financial records, built a wall so high even Julia couldn't climb over it. In the end, the DA pressed charges. Gary, the pizza king, took a deal, turned state's evidence on his wife, and the dragon lady herself finally faced a reckoning in the same courthouse where she'd tried to burn me down. But you want a real twist? Even as she was led away, even as the papers started running the truth, nobody in Hemlock Creek brought over a casserole. No neighbor knocked on our door to apologize. The silence in the community changed flavor, from open hostility to cold, embarrassed avoidance. They kept their distance, some out of shame, some out of stubborn denial. And on Nextdoor, the battle raged on. Half the posts defending their friend Julia as a misunderstood victim, others quietly admitting maybe they'd gotten swept up in the drama, but not enough to say it out loud. The real jury was always going to be the people who watched it happen and chose to do nothing. One day, Jaden handed me his phone. There was a message from Mr. Harrison, the retired history professor who'd risked so much to stand up for us, his own house vandalized for daring to speak the truth. Whatever happens, don't let this place make you small. You belong here as much as anyone, and I'm proud to know you. That message broke something open in me. For every coward, there's a quiet hero. For every Julia, a Mr. Harrison who won't be bullied into silence. Sometimes that's all you get, a single voice cutting through the noise, reminding you that truth, however battered, never really dies. The night before Jaden left for university, he got a scholarship, aced every class, just like I always believed he could. I found him in the garage, running his hand along the Challenger's hood. "Maybe I'll drive it to campus," he said, almost shy. "Remind them that I belong wherever I park." I smiled, tears burning behind my eyes. "Damn right you do," I told him. "And don't let anybody, ever, make you think otherwise." It was only a car, only a driveway, but for us, it was a flag planted, a line drawn. Our joy, our story, not theirs to rewrite. People say the truth comes out in the end, but that's a lie. We fight for every inch of daylight, every chance to be heard above the chorus of those who profit from our pain. In the end, we survived. The scars are still there, the articles online, the side eyes of the grocery store. But we're still here, still building, still driving forward. So now it's your turn. You tell me, does justice mean anything if it leaves a family fractured, a community unchanged? Have you ever watched the world rewrite your story while you're still living it? Let me know in the comments. What would you have done? What's the line between fighting back and holding on? And if you're out there feeling outnumbered, outgunned, don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you break. Because sometimes just holding your ground is the most radical act of all. And hey, if you're listening, share this story. Shine a light in your own corner of the world. Because the only way the truth wins is if enough of us refuse to stay silent.